Girl podcast, and I have my very, very special friend. We have actress, writer, producer, fashion girly,
I am special.
creator. What else? What else goes in that title?
Yeah.
What else needs to go in that title?
Actress, writer, producer, nonprofit girly.
Medalion Rahimi, everyone. So, and then Medalion has a very special guest coming in.
Yes, this is the glam hand. Thank you so much. Come in a little bit more just so we can see how glam this hand is. Thank you. Yeah, I love the little hand, the mysterious hand.
So we have our glam hand.
Oh wait,
and then no, it's okay. I can just
wait, glam hand.
And then
you're good until okay. She's no, come closer, in more.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much for joining us today. I feel we're so privileged to be here in Medalion's amazing home.
In my bed.
In your bed.
To my bed.
Yeah. Things are getting naughty here. We're in the bedroom.
We do have.
I mean, they literally are getting a little naughty.
Just a little bit.
Oh, this is really good. Okay.
Well, we're good girls. Well, we're covering good girls.
Actually, that's my first question. So, Medalion, yes, are you a good girl?
I would say I'm definitely a recovering good girl. Sorry, the glam.
Okay, so
is the sound okay? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you used to be like a good girl.
I still think I have good girl tendencies.
Were you like really good in school? Like, were you like really well behaved?
Teacher's pet.
Oh, really?
I definitely rebelled in some ways with school if I felt there was a true injustice.
Yeah.
But, I loved school. I loved learning. I think a lot of it has to do maybe with the culture a little bit, being Middle Eastern. It's, you're like be seen, not heard kind of a situation. But my parents were lovely and
oh, that's good.
So great. But at the same time, yeah, you just want to please everyone, or there is this like feeling like you need to. And so that was something I've really had to work on in my adult life. Yeah.
Were there like any friends where you were like, oh wow, look at her. Like she can just she doesn't have to please anyone. She's just being who she wants to be. Like, did you ever notice that like growing up, like friends, like, oh wow, she's just doing her thing, and you're still kind of feeling like, oh, I have to be a certain way?
Yes, and sometimes I would get embarrassed as well, or I would actually mostly I think I would admire them, and then I would get embarrassed about feeling that way, or then I would get embarrassed because I was like jealous a little bit because I was like, oh, they can use their voice so easily and demand for what they want, and I think that is something that should be instilled into young women at a very young age.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need like a class. Oh, hi everyone. I see people are joining here. Guys, welcome. Yeah, no, I definitely feel like instead of home economics, it should be just like how to be a woman with a voice class, growing up, because it's just everywhere. Like growing up as a young woman, like looking at things like, oh, I need to be a certain, I mean, now it's a little bit different. Like when we were growing up, magazines and TV and stuff were different portrayals, but there's still a lot of it out there.
A lot of stress on perfectionism and being sweet, being nice, being easy. And I think that's something that I do think comes with time and experience.
How old were you when you feel like you kind of
started to break that good girl mold? Like I said, it's a process, I think, but it became easier. It came easier to me. I didn't feel like I was doing something wrong when probably in my late 20s, around 27 is when I started to be more aware of that. And I think a lot of that does have to do, I don't know, the Mercury in retrograde and everything. Or not Mercury in retrograde, your Venus in retrograde.
Yeah, a return of Saturn too.
Return of Saturn, that's what
that's
what I meant.
Return of Saturn.
Clearly not that big of an astrology girly.
And we're just gonna like casually vape all
glam hand. There's more martinis in the fridge if you need. Okay, just checking.
Okay, so Medalion, how
oh, sorry. Glam hand is also asking if Yoda needs a martini. Yes, but don't worry about it.
So how is life right now? Like, I feel like what's going on? You got a lot going on.
Let me put this down because I will chug this whole thing.
So tell us what's going on in your life right now.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, if that there is anyone here who follows me knows, I've produced my first feature film.
Yay!
Called The Weekend on Cape Cod When Everything Changed. And it's about a young Iranian immigrant who, decides to marry her billionaire boss's son to get a green card so she can stay in the States.
That sounds nice.
And the weekend of the wedding, the friends come and just like a lot of crazy shit happens that weekend. But that's been the biggest thing, and we're in pre-production, full swing right now. It's been insane, just like production meetings all the time.
And she did crowdfunding, and you
got crowdfunding.
You reached your goal. You got it funded. So congratulations! That's so amazing.
I reached it and some, which was amazing. So it's just we literally could not do it with all those people who supported and pledged and contributed. So it was beautiful to see all the support.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to get a movie made, and the fact that you guys are gonna make. When are you gonna make it?
Still doesn't feel real. Like it's happening. Like books our flight. The crew is in place. We're literally leaving in like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, so in 3 weeks you're gonna be gone. And how long are you gone for?
About a month.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So you start shooting. What is that? When you?
The start day, I believe, is the 30th
of March.
No, sorry, we leave on the 29th. So I can't be. It's the first of April. Sorry, because we leave on the 30th. 1st of April to May 1st.
That's so exciting. Mm-hmm. So you guys are going to go shoot the movie, and how long are you there for? You're a month?
About a month,
yeah. And then, then edit it, and then...
Editing, and then the whole, it's not over. That's the whole thing about making a movie, is just getting the money, which is, I think, the hardest part, definitely, is getting the funding. But once you get that, it's just... it's just more and more, but it's exciting. It's interesting to see how things just happen, like with your book.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm going to just do this. And then step by step, you're like, this is happening.
Yeah.
I can't believe it,
It's so exciting, though,
really
when especially like when you are there on set shooting the movie. That's going to be such a magical time. So there's nothing like shooting an indie movie with like a group of people on location, and especially in such a magical place. I feel like you guys are going to have so much fun.
I've never been to Cape Cod. I'm excited. I hear lovely things. And, the beach, and so I'm sure it'll be great.
So I do have a question about the movie. So tell me, what inspired you to do this particular project?
Well, Dahlia Rooney, the writer, and I had been working on this other project that we had pitched. We took it out. People were interested, but it was almost like too Iranian, and it took place in Iran. And so a lot of people didn't. It's like hard. A lot of people don't want to touch that stuff. I get it. It's complicated. Political stuff it's not really. It's difficult to get those things made. So, but then she was like, I have this other story that I've always wanted to tell, and it's about this weekend it's a real weekend that happened to her and her friends. Between her friend, and she worked for her boyfriend's family, and then her visa ran out, and they were like, all right, I guess should we get married? And she had this whole sort of dilemma about it, and then the friends came, and a lot of crazy stuff happened.
So the writer, is she the director or no?
No, she's not directing. She's writing and she's acting in it. She's basically playing herself, which is great, because I don't think anyone else could play her either. But the director's Lauren Knoll, who's a good friend of hers, and they have like a creative relationship that they've had for years. And she's amazing. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So is this the first full feature film you've produced?
Yes. I've done like 3 short films, and then I call it a visual poem, but this is the first feature.
This is so exciting.
And hopefully the first of many.
I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great setting. I think it's a great group of characters. Like, it sounds really fun.
It's universal too. I think it could have been exchanged with like any culture, And my dad got married for a green card, so I think it hits close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So what else do I have here? Okay, so I have a question. How do you stay positive and motivated? Because, I mean, you have to be motivated and positive to go make a feature film. But, like, just in general, how do you stay positive and motivated?
I mean, I think being in LA or working in any sort of really competitive creative field, you have to learn how to have a tough skin, but also the positivity. I mean, that's the hard part, I think that... Well, besides, breathing and yoga. I do meditate, and really what it is, it's just how I talk to myself. I've changed the language. I used to be really hard on myself.
Oh, really?
And now I'm just more, even if I'm like, oh my God, you stupid bitch or something, why did you do that? Then you're just like, okay, I hear you, but you're okay. You tried your best with that situation. You're trying. It's okay. Like, pick yourself up and just talking to yourself in a positive way. And being grateful. Like, I'm just so grateful for everything in my life and the opportunities I've had. And yeah. So I feel very lucky.
How many years or has it been since you feel like that really changed for you? Like that kind of mindset? Yeah.
It's funny. I feel like it's gotten harder as I've gotten older, actually. And I've had to do more work, and I got into therapy in the last couple of years. And, I take these voice lessons, but they're also kind of spiritual guidance, chakra clearing. Shout out to Dottie Todman. She's amazing. If anyone's looking for someone, not only for vocal training, but also just learning how to love yourself in a way. And really, it's just like being patient with yourself.
And how often do you do that with her?
With her once a week.
Oh, really?
And then therapy once every 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And what does she call herself? Like what?
Well, her method is called Core Vocal Power, and it's all about breathing, aligning, trusting, and loving your voice, which is an important part of not being too much of a nice girl, is using your voice and being comfortable.
So this wasn't a question that I had written down, but it just brings up a point for me. So, like, when you remember being an actor, like when you were younger versus now, how do you speak up for yourself, like on set, but also do it professionally? Is that something like you struggle with sometimes? Because
absolutely. And I think it's just being more comfortable and just trusting that you know what you're doing, even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, because most of us don't know what we're doing. But you have to be like, okay, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I've had this experience. I deserve to be here. My voice does matter. And there's certain roles, you just go, you do it. What you say, it's not really important because it's not serving the whole story. But when you know that something is important for the story or for you, or you're uncomfortable, you have to speak up. Like sometimes with the makeup in the makeup trailer.
Oh my God. You don't know how many times people have taken off all my eyebrows. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like when I was younger, like there were a couple shows when I'm like, I can't use them on my reel because the makeup artist plucked my whole eyebrow off. And I didn't say anything, but I feel like makeup and hair is like a big thing to speak up.
Because it's your likeness that's going to be seen. It's your face that you have to live with being immortalized forever, which is why I know we're in PJs, but I still do a little glam. Yeah. So I was like, this is going on the internet, it's out there forever. So you have to just be like, okay, I'm going to take charge of my image, of my brand, of who I am. And I've gotten a lot better at it. I used to just like sneakily change the makeup. And one time it was like a really horrible, small indie short film. And the makeup artist was like 8 months pregnant. So she was hormonal, and it was totally understandable. I mean, not to blame her hormones either, but she just like lost her shit because I added a little eyeliner.
Stop.
And I was like, first of all, they paled me out. I was supposed to be like a robot. So they paled me out, and I was like, red lips, white face with my coloring. I was like, I need something. So after that, I was like, okay, it just seems better to just be open and honest and upfront instead of, upsetting. It is their work too. It's the makeup artist's work. They need continuity. It's disrespectful to change their work without telling them.
But this is definitely going back to like the whole good girl, like speaking up for yourself.
Instead of saying something, I was just like,
yeah,
it's great. Right? Yeah.
Because there's been so many times where I just went out there with no eyebrows and didn't say anything and just cried later. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to speak up, it's like so hard sometimes because you don't want to ruffle feathers, but like you also want to feel good.
And there is a way. That's the thing, is speaking up sometimes can feel, the world is such a difficult, hard place already. I never want to make anyone feel bad. That's the last thing I want. I love to make people feel good. That's why I'm an entertainer. I want to or just feel, but never bad. That's the last thing I want. So speaking up sometimes felt like I was criticizing somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Silly. If you just say it, if not being like, this makeup sucks, that's disrespectful.
Like, hey, I don't really
feel
feel
like,
comfortable.
look, this looks amazing. I was just like, I'm a little more comfortable. I'm used to this or this.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we do? And they're like, yeah, of course, whatever. And now that I do that,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, yeah, girl, that's great. Tell me, what do you want? Like, and sometimes it's ridiculous,
great.
Like the nose contouring and things like that. They're like, I'm like, please just do it for me. They're like, okay,
give me some contour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get a little bit better about looking at some of these comments. Someone said, "Nah, make him feel bad."
I love that. I mean, I'm trying to get into that energy of just, I don't want to make. Yeah, again.
Someone said, "When is Mr. Sins coming over?" I don't know what that means. Okay,
Mr. Sins.
I didn't know if that was like a TV show you made. I don't know. No. Okay. All right. Moving forward. So, okay, what are you looking for in life right now? Like, what are you, like, what are you looking for
in this question?
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I think definitely, like, my career is most important to me right now. I feel like it's in a really exciting place where there's a lot of new opportunities, and just really focusing on that, but also, just new experiences, new adventures, trying new things. I've been trying to do things that I wouldn't normally do. And I just got into I recently just bought all this stuff to start gardening and things like that, which I love. And I love plants and things, but I've never dabbled with that, and just different hobbies.
You need to watch the Meghan Markle Netflix.
Someone else told me about
this. Like, I don't know if it's like her real garden, like in the show, or if it's like a fake garden, like a different house that she's at. But it's definitely,
she does have like a little farm. I know that.
I think like in her real house she does, but in the I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a set farm, but whatever it is, it's all about farm to table, and she like just goes into her garden and like gets stuff and makes food.
I mean, that's my dream.
Yeah.
There's that quote where it's like, what is it? You want to be happy for What is it? You want to be happy for a year.
Oh.
So you want to be happy for a year, get married. You want to be happy for 10 years, get a dog. You want to be happy for life, get a garden.
Oh.
I think it was Martha Stewart. I think that was from her.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I think that was from her. And I was like, yeah, that's literally it. It was like, and I do want to find love, and I would love to get married and all of that. But besides the biological stuff, like, I don't feel a rush.
Yeah.
Life is so good.
Yeah. I'm excited about you and your garden. That's a great thing to want right now.
My mom has one, so I really want to, she can help too.
Okay. What's something that you struggle with?
I mean, one thing? Let's see.
What are some things that you struggle with?
Again, I think it's putting myself first. Which it's funny because I actually am quite, what I like to say is, what does my therapist say is not selfish. It's when you're self-reassuring, you just basically you put yourself first for everything. And there's some situations like family or certain things where you're like, okay, let me just make sure everyone else and everything else is good, and then I'll take care of myself kind of vibe. Maybe it's a Cancer in me though. Yeah.
Are you a Cancer?
I am a Cancer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Which I also have to sometimes like fight with those urges as well. But the Cancers are crabs. They're snappy. They have a tough shell. Yeah. Oh, see, that's also another type of Cancer. Is just like it seems like she got her shit, and she's like strong and
yeah. And you're strong.
No, thank you.
No, I've seen Medalion in a few different situations, and like you're very like strong and assertive, and like you speak your mind, and like it's really inspiring because it's like not a lot of women are like that.
Yeah, thank you. And I feel like that's definitely something that has been more of a reoccurrence now, like now in my life, definitely.
Yeah, but you're also just like fun.
Yeah,
so it's like it's
nice.
Yeah,
the last thing confrontation is always something I struggle with, but it's again gotten easier because I've been doing it, and then I'm always like, oh, this isn't so bad. Like, I'm just
okay. I don't know if I want to tell this story, but like there was a moment like when we were in Italy.
Oh gosh.
With like you and Sam.
Oh,
and it was real. So there's this other friend of ours, Sam, and you guys have known each other for a really long time. And it was so interesting to see you guys have conflict and how you resolved it. And honestly, I was like, wow, I wish more women could resolve their issues with their friends in that way.
Yes.
Because I have lost friendships over
a little blow up like that.
And talking to them about it, and then they were just like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I just was like, wow, that's so interesting that her and Sam could have conflict, resolve it, and move on.
Exactly. And that's, well, I think a lot of that, first of all, the friends who did just walk away, I think they weren't really friends with you because they cared about you as a person. I think it was more you were serving something for them, and then once you stood up for yourself, you were no longer serving them. Because I've had friendships like that.
Years of being friends with them, and the first time I ever confronted them, that was it.
Well, because I had a friendship like that, and it creates a dynamic that you're just never, you wouldn't be, it's an affront to them when you do, which is, I'm not trying to justify it, that's crazy, but yeah, that could have been friendship ending, because it did blow up at one point and it got emotional and said things, and then later, after we had calmed down a little bit, we like came together, and you just like started with like, I love you.
I heard them have this conversation.
I love you. I am sorry, but like you drive me insane sometimes. And that was what it was. It was like a little builds up of a bunch of different things on this trip. We had spent like 3 weeks together driving in a car from the bottom to the top of Italy. So, and you can understand that could get intense, and like sharing spaces and everything. And so there was little build-ups to that one big moment, but then it was afterwards, it was like we were just like hugging and crying, and it was beautiful.
It was just so nice to see two friends be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of women, but I think a lot of women have problems like with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like thinking about me, but I'm also thinking about other women like that I've talked to, that they just like, they can't be honest with their friends.
No, and it comes out as passive aggressive or, you know, and it's instead, and that can happen, and that's okay if that happens sometimes, as long as you repairing, and that's with any relationship is so important. It's okay to blow up. We're human. We're not, I can't be a robot. Like my whole doing therapy, everything, and all the books I've read on Buddhism, everything, I thought I had to be a monk sitting on top of a hill floating, and like nothing mattered, zen queen, to be enlightened. And I was like, no, enlightenment to me was, you can speak your mind, you can be emotional, you can do these things, as long as it feels good and right, and you know how, if you did make a mistake, you do know how to repair it. And just like learning lessons throughout life.
Yeah.
Because the worst is being a Cancer. Sometimes if we bottle up, and then we'll explode.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather just say it, and then the explosion. Avoid the explosion.
Okay, moving on. So, are you ashamed of anything?
Oof, ashamed. Ashamed of this shit.
Yeah.
No, but this because we're
like I literally did it off camera.
Ashamed, gosh.
Or have you ever felt ashamed of something too?
I have. It's just so funny because I can't. I think anytime I've betrayed myself, I'm ashamed of that. Definitely. No, guilt I've had, but guilt is also a funny one. So yeah, ashamed. No, I don't know. That's a good question, though.
You know, I've asked everyone, all 3 people, and no one has really said anything
specific.
No, because I think it's a heavy topic.
Maybe we're ashamed to say that we're ashamed of something. I'm like, yeah, it's funny when you asked it. I just went,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean
it's a heavy question. Yeah. I mean, the last person I interviewed, there were some things about their background that when they were growing up, they felt ashamed, like growing up, like in school, like about a few things. But yeah.
I mean, I guess when I was younger, you know, I don't want to get into all that. That's so whatever. Well, yeah. Well, there was so much. It's so funny being Iranian sometimes, growing up in a world, and with Western media and the way it portrays Iran. It was kind of hard for me to, when I was younger, I did reject my Iranianness quite a bit. My parents would like listen to Persian music, and I would just be like, can you just like, I don't know, listen to the Rolling Stones or something? Like I wanted to be so Western, and I didn't want to learn the language, although now I speak it pretty fluently, and I did the work to learn it. But at first, I'm like ashamed that I was ashamed of my my culture. And I remember after 9/11 happening, even though it had nothing to do with Iran, I got there was like a lot of prejudice against me because everybody knew I was Persian. Because I was so proud when I was younger, and we would do those. Everyone brought like the potlucks, and you bring food from your culture to school, and everyone was like loved the food and da da da. And then when when 9/11 happened, everyone was like, "Aren't you Middle Eastern?" Like blah blah blah. So there was some shame there of like rejecting my culture for a bit. But now I've been been years of rediscovering it. So it's been so lovely.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. Like about like when I was young, I would go to Puerto Rico in the summertime, and I didn't speak Spanish, and I just would feel so like like outside. You know what I'm saying? And then also growing up, I wanted to kind of assimilate more like to white culture, and and now looking back, I'm like, oh, like I wish I would have learned, like tried to speak Spanish more when I was a kid. But it's just interesting. I think things are really awkward, like when you're a kid, because you're trying to fit in, and then if there's something that prohibits you from
even my name. That's another thing I used to hate. I was like, my name, because every time I would say it, there was always a reaction. Now I love it. I'm like, people like Medalion, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah. But then it was, I would change. I did Medal, which I thought was less different, and it's basically metal. And I don't know. Yeah, it's something about the name. It's the identity. It's so funny. Yeah.
But also, I think it was the culture, like back then. Like I don't know, like if I was a kid today, do you feel like if you?
I know now it's like cool to be a POC. Thank God.
Right? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like how times change.
Which is also not okay. But yeah. Yes. To fetishize it in any way, but yeah, I'm grateful for it. Although it still does feel sometimes transactional, but I think we are really going into a direction where it's like nobody wants to see a show where it's just all white people anymore. I don't want to see that on TV. I want the media to represent different perspectives and cultures.
Yeah, I think the hard thing for me, like doing acting, like growing up, was that there wasn't any like half and half roles. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like, you need to be from Mexico, and I'm like, but I'm not, and so like it was really hard, like because everyone
not brown enough for the brown people, not white enough for the white people.
So it was
that
really
third culture experience.
People wanted me to change my last name to make it sound more Latin. Like people, like I
got that too. One time, some casting director was like, "You should change your name
to what?"
I don't know. I don't think he just didn't like Rahimi. I don't know if he was racist or something. But I was like, you should just go by Medalion. I was like, well, that's kind of cool too.
Like Zendaya?
But, yeah, Madonna, Zendaya, Medalion.
I mean,
yeah, but fuck them all.
Yeah, no, I am proud of myself for not changing, like because I don't know, it always just felt so wrong to me, like I was lying to everyone if I changed my last name to like, even though like my mother's like maiden name is like Sepulveda or something, it's like I could have changed it, but it's like, no,
Bianca Sepulveda. Oh,
but that's a lie. Like if I go into a
Bianca and then Malinowski, it is the perfect mix of your cultures. Yeah, that's who you are.
So it's like I'd rather come in
with the Latin and then you have the European. Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 4 years ago there was a role on a Hulu show where the person had to be half Puerto Rican, half Polish from Texas. But I was not, they needed to be a little bit older than me. But I was like, wow, like this is the first time like I've ever seen this. Maybe it was 3 years ago. It was like right after COVID kind of. But it's just crazy to see that for the first time represented, because I'm so specific, like So that's kind of cool to
It
see
is
that
so
happening.
cool. I'm so happy with where things are. Now what I'm seeing in as auditioning and things is it used to be either like what you said, you had to be the role was called for Iranian, spoke Farsi, blah blah blah, or I was just playing whatever character that had no ethnic sort of indicator. Now it's characters where they don't even care what ethnicity you are, they're just looking for whoever fits best. So I'm seeing less, Persian princess terrorist roles, which is nice, and more just like this girl or, the girlfriend or the boss's colleague or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's really nice to see. It's refreshing. Although I do think we need to keep telling stories about minorities and their experiences.
Yeah, because I do think that so many people can relate to your story, like growing up, or my story growing up, being like of a certain, culture, like, second generation. Like those stories are really relevant.
So relevant, especially in America, like and LA. It's like such a melting pot. Everyone here is pretty much an immigrant at some point down the line, So that is such a universal experience that I think, is important. So I'm excited about this movie.
Yeah, I really liked Rami, like when that came out. Because also the
Rami.
whole religion aspect too. I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
And it was like light and fresh, and I mean, what he's done for just the whole, Swana or Mina community has been amazing. And that's and comedy, I think, is such a beautiful way to connect people. And that's what I'm trying to get more into as well, because laughter's that good medicine, Yeah, and if you see people who are different from you on TV and they make you laugh and you like them, then you're like, all right, maybe these people aren't so bad.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, because the stuff, because what Rami talked about was, a young person actually wanting to be religious, which was interesting. Like maybe religion's not that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful perspective too. It's just choice. It's all about choice.
Like in a time where people aren't super religious, there's a lot of young people.
Yeah. Although I don't know, it feels like things are changing a bit. I don't know though. I don't know if it's really religion, as it's more just something else. But we don't.
Wait, what is it?
I think it's just people love community. People love being a part of something.
I mean that too. They don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's keep going here. So, what is your relationship to money like?
Money is funny.
Money.
Yeah. Money.
Yeah.
This always reminds me of Cabaret. Money. It's it's so funny. I'm pretty smart with it. I will say that. Sometimes, most of the time, like when it really matters. And luckily I've had people in my life who have a little more experience with it and who've helped me sort of find what to do with the money that I've made so that I can sort of sustain myself. Because as an actor, you're making money 1 second and then you're not making money for like 6 months to a year. So you have to know how to invest and things to do with it. But yeah, like when money runs low, I'm terrified. I hate it. And but money is fluid. It's something I always try and tell myself. It comes, it goes. In the end, it's all about how you feel and who you are and your happiness and believing in yourself. And I know that's easier to say than do, but
no, I think it's important to hear though.
Yeah. I don't want to be like toxic positivity either, but we need it in this toxically negative world sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good. I mean, there's this book that's been on my Amazon in my cart, like saved, called not Finance is Cool, but it's like women finance. And I just think it's important for women to, think about finance.
Absolutely. And it scared me at first to have to look at finances and really think about those things. But once I started to learn a little bit more about them, I felt empowered. And I was like, oh, I know this stuff, like taxes and all those things. I still pay someone to do my taxes, but I've learned a lot through asking questions. And then because what gives me anxiety is the not knowing. So the more I know, the less anxious I am around it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's most important.
Do you have a business manager or someone who helps you with like investing, or how does that work?
I have, yes. Well, I have like there is someone at this. Yeah, I guess he is kind of a business manager, in a way, but he's like a family friend who kind of gives me advice and things like that. And then he set me up with this guy who works at like Morgan Stanley, and they're kind of really helpful on what to do with certain things, like high yield savings accounts. Like those are something great for people to look into that a lot of us don't even know about. And you don't need that much money to put into it to get that,
do you have a Roth IRA?
I do, but there's not like much in it. Oh, okay. Or I have a SEP. Maybe it's a SEP and a Roth. I don't. See, yeah, this is what we should know here. I have a SEP IRA. I know that, and I have some retirement stuff going. And I know SAG does some stuff for you too.
For retirement. Okay, interesting. Yeah. No, these are all.
Yeah, and
Do you invest money like in the stock market, or?
I have a little bit in there, but that shit scares me. Yeah. And also, like, those companies are so evil most of the time. I feel bad. When I talked to my business manager, I told her, I was like, so is there like green companies or like eco-friendly, kind of more thinking of the future? And she's like, yeah, they just don't make as much money. I'm like, that's okay. That's okay. Put the money in there.
Yeah.
And then like maybe a little bit in the Fortune 500s, just a little bit, but not much, really not much. Because I don't look at that stuff. I don't play with stocks.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to look at to study and to spend your time on.
See, that's the thing with money is, as much as it is important to me, it's I don't like, it's not something I find fun to, like, people get off on playing the market game, and especially right now, I don't know how people are doing.
If you got married, okay, wait, hold on. So if you got married, do you feel like you would trust your husband with like investing your money?
My money?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. Obviously, I would hope so. I hope I could trust him with my money. But yeah, I mean, I would love a partner who can kind of take on those more traditional masculine roles, I guess.
Because sometimes if like they really like doing it, or if they're good at it, but then like at the same time,
if I know they're good at it and they like doing it, and we have a very trusting, loving, deep relationship, yeah. But if I get married, I'm having my own account. Yeah. You have your own account. We also have a joint account. I think that's how it should be. Also, legal marriage is something I'm still not sure of. Like, I want to do the party, and I want to wear a dress. But in California, if you're together for more than 10 years, you get all of the same benefits.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess, yeah, if I had a family, I mean, we'll see how the state of the U.S. goes, but I think I would want to live here because my family's here. So
yeah. Okay,
Love
okay,
California
good. This is good. Ever. Are you single? I guess.
So I am single. I'm dating a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm single. I'm like kind of seeing this one person, but it's still very early. And then I might be leaving for 6 months for a job, I told you. So I have no clue what the future could look like with this person. Also, you get a job and you're traveling, you kind of want to be free a little bit, especially it's so early.
Yeah.
So we don't really have enough time to like get to know each other. So we'll see.
Did you meet them online?
No, we actually met a few years ago at a party.
Okay.
And went on a date, and I like wasn't feeling it at the time. But then years later, I was on Raya and I saw them, and we've been like liking each other's stuff or whatever. And so I just like swipe, just like a friendly thing.
Yeah.
So I swipe on all my friends if I see them on a dating app. I'm like, hey, yeah. And then he texted me, and we've just been going on a few dates and seeing where it goes.
Oh, nice. Well, that's fun.
It's cute, but I've gone on a few dates with some other people as well, just to keep things light. And yeah. I'm someone who, when if I meet someone I have any remote feelings for, I will like dive in because I'm so picky. It's so rare for me to like someone. But that's always gotten me in trouble in the past. So I'm like really trying to take my time with getting to know people now.
Do you like this person, this new person? You like?
Yeah, I would say I like them. I think we're still getting to know each other. Like, there's still so much I don't know about them, and they don't know about me. But like, the chemistry is great. They're cute. We have fun. Like, who knows where it could go?
Who knows?
Yeah.
So what is something that you're looking for in a partner?
Okay, this is so great. I need someone who's I feel like can be a rock. Like I love a guy with like a calm energy. But it's so funny because I've also dated actors who are like me. They're just really outgoing and that's also hot. But I think for a lifelong partner, it's just someone who can handle a situation with grace and patience. Because I've dated guys who I thought were that, and then like I left my phone at the restaurant and we've driven 15 minutes and then they're frustrated. They have to like drive back and it's a whole thing. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
It's like if you can't, or yeah, just if an inconvenience or if shit goes down in life, I need to know like, look, you can be emotional and we can talk about it, but I need to know you're not going to, I don't know, just completely destabilize.
Have you dated someone where you felt like...
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm saying that.
Have you dated someone where you feel like they were patient enough to go back to the restaurant and after 15 minutes of driving and be like, oh, no, it's fine. We can just go back. Have you ever dated someone like that?
Yeah, I think one, but they were also very aloof in other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, someone who's also invested in my life and in their own and has their own life as well.
Yeah.
Because I do tend to like collect a man and then they're kind of like here and I'm doing my thing.
Okay.
And then, and I'm like, okay, you need to.
Yeah. No, I think it is important to like definitely someone who has their shit together. But if, for example, the dog pees on the rug, it's not the end of the world. It can be cleaned. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like if forgot
a small inconvenience sets you off, there is some deep rooted shit that to me is like, oh, this is one thing. A man who has been in therapy or is in therapy or doesn't need therapy. I guess that's like the biggest thing.
I mean, there are those. Oh, like he came out.
Oh wait, should we break him up here?
Bring Yoda. So I mentioned, or if the dog pees on the rug, and then Yoda came out. So Medallion has a dog named Yoda. I also have a dog named Yoda, which I feel like that's how you know.
This is Yoda. He's also in his PJs, which is a Totoro outfit courtesy of his auntie Ali LaRue.
So cute. So cute.
Okay, just to see how funny this is.
He's just a little bear. He's a little teddy bear. Oh, I see some hearts.
Yeah, right.
Thank you guys so much for joining in. So we're gonna keep it going. There's a few more things. So what are you looking for in a friend?
Okay, now in friend. Again, someone who is like, if you need, I got a flat tire and like my friend went with me to go to get a new one. Like that's to me is like a true friendship, or just someone you can just like chat and call about bullshit. And you can be in each other's lives, but it's also not too. We're all adults now. We can't be hanging out every single day, talking all the fucking time. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. But when like shit is again just a solid person. And I've also learned how to compartmentalize different friendships where it's like, okay,
that's always been so hard for me.
I know, because you just want to be like, you're my best friend.
Well, I just like
I'm that way.
I usually don't do well with surface level friends. Like I only am really friends with people if I know that like I can like go deep with them and they won't like run away. Do you know what I'm saying? But I have a hard time with just like, oh, they're fun. Like just go have fun, and
it could be a fun social friend. Yeah. No, I think that's important, especially in LA. Like you have to learn. Okay. Yeah. To put that boundary for your own sake.
Are you like looking to make new friends?
Always.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I've made more like close friends in my adult years. Of course, I still have my friends I have a couple friends from high school, not that many, and then a couple from college. But most of my friends that I spend most of my time with are friends I met in my adult life.
Okay.
Even growing up in LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have friends, there's girlfriends that I grew up with who they're still friends with that same core group. And I think that's beautiful as well. Like it's such a beautiful thing to be friends with someone for 17 plus years. But yeah. Yeah.
So it's something that I just thought of when I was at this party a few weekends ago. I noticed something had changed in me because I was all dressed up at this party, and I think in the past I would be like, "Oh, I want to try and meet a guy," and then I met this girl and I became friends with her, and I was like, "Oh, this." To me is just as important as meeting a guy to go on a date with them and date them, meeting a girl to be a friend.
The social, yes, that social connection of going out. I know, because it's a lot of times going out was sort of, it revolved around like meeting somebody.
Yeah.
Which is part of the excitement, I think, of going out. Is like, maybe I'll meet someone tonight. And that can be in the back of your head, but meeting anyone.
Yeah, just to have a connection with someone, whether that be like a platonic friendship or whether that be like a romantic relationship. To me, it was like a win. And then after that, I was like, wow, it's the first time I've ever felt that way.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I could just go out
because you put yourself out. Yeah, because you felt comfortable putting yourself out.
Yeah, because I met someone that I had a great conversation with, and now I have a new friend, and because I think I don't know, just back in the day, I was just so set on trying to meet a guy, and that's not always the goal. It's the goal is to go out and make a connection, a genuine connection with someone, whether it be a friend or a guy.
Because I think, I don't know if you've had the same experience, but I've had amazing friendships, but the relationships with men that I've had have been so deep and so, it's and to me, that is what I've been craving. But once you can experience that same deepness and intimacy in a friendship, then you stress it less on the the person that you want to be romantically involved with.
Yeah.
But there is something so beautiful about that romantic connection with somebody.
I know.
That is just so deep and so amazing. I know, and I get that. And as I'm like, okay, someone who wants a cis monogamous relationship. I wouldn't say I'm fully straight, but that's that's what I want. And there is something so beautiful if the masculine and the feminine, or just the energies, it doesn't have to be gender. It could just be the energies. When they come together, it can be so beautiful and just complement each other. And I think, and they have to exchange, even if the man or the woman or whatever, they switch roles, and there has to be that ebb and flow. So I think when that happens, it can be so beautiful, but it is important to also recognize, that you can get fulfilled in your friendships as well.
Yeah, I definitely am still looking for a wonderful romance.
Yes.
But it's you know what? You can't really force it. It's going to happen.
You can't. Yeah, and imagine if you met someone 5 years ago and who you are now, and you married that person. You would be a different person right now. And maybe you can grow together. Those are the best relationships, is when you meet someone that you can grow with. But a lot of the times, the people I've dated in the past, I would never date them again now,
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
What does that mean? What does it mean?
It just means we're growing. And
so, okay, a couple quick questions. So, well, they're not that quick, but what have your dating experiences in LA been like? If you were to wrap it up in a nutshell, maybe 3 words, how would you describe your dating experience in LA?
It's so funny. It's there's definitely been abysmal, for sure.
Nothing.
But there's just dark abysmal. What the fuck? LA.
Yeah.
Why? LA is definitely the hardest place. One of the hardest places to date. Harder than New York, because I feel like New York, at least people talk to you. They go out. They're doing things.
Yeah.
They're
why is LA so hard?
I think we're a little more secluded. We're a little bit more, our social circles, we kind of stick to the same, where we work a lot. And so do people in New York, but I don't know. But I would say, but then I've also had a lot of luck. I've also met amazing people, and I've been so lucky.
Well, you're very social.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I think going out is one of the best things you can do for your love life. Especially if you're not someone, I don't like dating apps. I've been on them, obviously, and every now and then it's maybe worked out. But yeah, I do love just meeting someone in person, because I can be really judgmental on a dating app. well. I'm sure everyone else can.
So abysmal. What's 2 other words?
Is it abysmal? But lucky.
Lucky.
And then just a trip. I don't know. Yeah, it's a fucking trip, man. Because I always thought that I would be married with children at 32. And now I'm like, no. Yeah, I do have one child here. Actually, and I have Miss Hiss. I have a snake. She's my daughter, but she she's a teenager. She wants nothing to do with me. So
cute. What have your friendships been like in LA?
You know, again, like I've had kind of a few friends that I've had since high school that they're my, you know, forever friends. Like I know they will be, but that's maybe like 3 people. And then my college friends, and then my friends now, which is it's just so many different circles of like concentric circles. There's like the outer rim, and then it just goes in more and more. Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like when we first met, it was at a party of a mutual friend. You were with a guy, so it was like a different environment, you know? But then we like really connected like afterwards. But like this is a weird question, but do you feel like because like you're an actress and you have stuff going on, do you know what I'm saying? Are you like more particular about who you become friends with, or no?
Friends wise? No, not as much. I would say I'm more wary of certain people, and how they come across.
Like because when we talk about LA and people have their social circles, I do think there is this thing about like if people are always like, what do you want from me? Do you feel that like sometimes that you still have to like suss that out? Like if you know, I don't know.
I think there's rarely. But I do think people do feel that way, and I do understand it. And there's been situations, there's been a few situations where I'm like, what is the intention behind this? Like truly, but that's something I should probably think about more.
No, I mean, yes and no.
And I lately have been too, where I was like, oh my God, is this person just interested in me because of this and this and this?
Well, I see it all the time in LA, like in social circles. Like, you know, sometimes you run in certain circles and it's like maybe there's like a super famous person, and then like, you know, I do see that people have that guard.
People do. Yeah. And I've been in social situations where people will have their guard up too. So there is always that as well. But again,
it's an interesting aspect of Los Angeles.
LA,
yeah.
Just because there is so much of this like celebrity, you know, and money and all of that, and people here are trying to just climb their way to the top. So
and I've seen that like with my friends, like sometimes like someone will come in and I'll just kind of be like, I don't buy it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's something about it that like I just want to be like, hey, I think she's just friends with you because of, you know, like X, Y, and Z. Like I don't think she's really your friend. But then like my friends back then would be like, oh well, like she's my surface level friend in this way where she like, but it's all this like,
again, that back to that transactional aspect of like, well, I get this from them, they get this from me, so it like works out, evens out. You know, we are tribal people, you know, in the end, in a weird way. Not to justify that, I think that is just very specific to LA.
He's losing his hair.
He is. He had like he had a yeast infection. Yoda had a yeast infection. Where it says like a fungal thing. We're getting it under control. But he's cold all the time now, so that's why I put this little Totoro thing. It was rainy and cold today, so
cute. Okay, so is there anything you regret?
I think just not believing in myself more sooner. Yeah. But there was like being younger as an actor and just like wanting to do my thing, I had this blind ambition and confidence that got me far. And then now it's about like really the work and this and that. But I think there was a time where I really just, didn't believe in myself or didn't feel like I deserved certain things. But like a single regret, I regret not studying abroad while I was at college. That's one
really?
thing.
Where would you have gone?
I don't, literally, it could have been anywhere. Like in Guatemala or
Wait, why didn't you do it?
Because I was so focused on acting that I was like, I need to be here. I need to be doing my shit. I need to be like, in the summers, I was like auditioning and working and taking classes. And I wasn't like enjoying that's maybe one thing I regret. I didn't enjoy my 20s as deeply as I feel like I'm having my 20s now in my 30s. And I was acting like I was in my 30s in my 20s.
Yeah.
Because, when you're young and ambitious and you're just like, all that matters is like success and and then you get older and you're like, oh my god, like I didn't have enough fun. Like I want to have fun now, and I'm still young, and then you do create a little bit of success, and then it's more fun to have fun.
Yeah, that's true.
When you have a little bit of like some resources to have fun,
not just like staying in hostels.
Yeah, or like coming home drunk to my parents' house or something. Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so she needs that trip to Guatemala.
I actually did go on a retreat to Guatemala like a year ago because I was like, this is what I should have done, and I'm so glad I did.
Okay, I feel like we're gonna just zoom through these last few questions. What are your goals in life?
I feel like I've said those.
Okay.
I want love. I want the career. I want, I just want to be a good person. Would love to make an impact on this world.
What's the
storytelling?
Yeah. So what's the ideal career look like?
Yeah, acting and producing and creating, definitely. Because even though I'm writing now, and I love writing, what it is to me more is about like the world building, and then the collaborative effort is like you create something and then a bunch of people come in and we like all make it amazing. Yeah, like I love that.
Okay, so creating, producing,
just living life deeper and learning more about there's so many, learning more about the world.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate what's happening right now?
This on you. That's
this
so
love
cute.
relationship.
He loves you. He didn't even bark at you. He barks at everybody who walks inside the door.
It's because I also have a Yoda.
He knows.
What do you worry the most about?
Having regrets in life.
Oh, really?
Going back to that. That's my biggest worry, is having any sort of regret in my life. And I want to make sure I don't have any. But
is there a guy you regret not dating longer?
Not dating long? No.
Okay. All right. So no regrets.
Maybe guys, no. And I don't even regret the guys that I shouldn't have dated. I don't even regret them because they taught me so much.
So you feel like regrets are more about experiences not had?
Yeah. But I do know a regret can be a deep thing. Like my mom, when she lost her mom, that regret, maybe it was guilt. That was deep. And things like I just don't want to regret anything like that deeply.
Wait, what was it with your mom about regretting?
Just when my grandma died, she had regrets about just not trying harder with her. And, my mom had a very complicated relationship with her mother and felt abandoned by her. And but seeing that for my mom was difficult. And I was just like, I just don't want to feel that way ever with anything.
Oh, interesting. I do feel like...
And grief is tough as well. It could be mixed with the grief. Like, so... Yeah.
I do feel like I always make such an effort to have a relationship with my
mother.
Mom, yep. Even though it's difficult.
Even though it's hard.
Like I do not. Yes. My mom will come and stay with me for like months, and my friends will be like, Bianca, how do you do that? And in my heart, I'm just like, well, because my mom had me when she was 41, and it's like she's 80, this year. And it's like, I don't want to, she's 80.
Bianca's mom is that is a shock to me. I would have not thought she was over 60.
I don't
over 60.
I want to regret not.
Brown really is. Brown don't frown. We'll say that much.
I don't want to regret not spending as much time with her as I can.
Yeah.
So even though it is hard when she comes and stays with me for a long period of time, I also feel like I just want to not regret that I had
spending that time
the opportunity to do it.
Beautiful, your relationship, and you're going on your birthday trip with her, and like all this. That's what I want to do, more stuff with my mom like that. Yeah, we've gone on some trips, but I want to do. Yeah.
To have those experiences.
Yeah. I guess it is just appreciating what you have, and I don't want to take it for granted, because that's the biggest regret. I think, is taking anything for granted.
Yeah. No, that's true. When do you feel most alive?
It's different things. I definitely, of course, like when I'm doing my job, when I'm acting, when I'm working, I love it. I definitely like, even though it can make you feel like you want to kill yourself too, it also makes you feel so alive. Again, and then being with friends, being with family, dancing. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Connecting with your body. Yeah.
Do you do a lot of dancing here in Los Angeles?
No, I've taken some classes here and there. I've actually been wanting to do belly dancing and then the pole, a pole dancing class. Not that I'm trying to do that, but I think it's like amazing strength and just again feeling connected to your sexuality.
It's really hard.
I am sure it is. Yeah. I do not think that it's something I can just pick up. I know it's going to be tough.
I have zero upper body strength because I took classes because I did an indie film like a long, long time ago where I was
a stripper,
and it was
every actress's dream, by the way.
It was so
why I don't know
hard. Oh my god! I was like, I have no upper body.
Okay, well, if you want to do a class soon, I have a place. Evolve. Have you heard of it? Let's go.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Let's go. What does love look like to you?
Oh my god, Bianca, you're asking these after a martini. I'm like, woo! Okay. Being on each other's team all the time, even in moments of conflict. In the end, you're just like, but we're on each other's team, even if we don't agree on this. Like, we are together in this. We are not enemies. Like, we are not enemies.
Yeah. I've never dated a man where I felt like we were trying to be on each other's team.
It's always like, no, you don't love me, or you don't care enough about me. No, you don't care enough about me. And it's like, in the end, you're basically saying like, I love you. Do you love me? And sometimes they're saying no, or sometimes they're saying yes, but they're also punching walls or something. I don't know. It's like, so just even through conflict, just remembering, that you want the best for each other and you're on each other's side, like true partnership, even when things get tough.
Yeah, I feel that. What is something you want to manifest or speak into existence? Like, what is something that you like want, now that we're here and we're doing this live, like what is something you want to manifest?
We're using the
I don't know if I don't think it's a full moon. I think it's going to be a full moon, but it's not a new moon. I don't know what it is, but what do you want?
It doesn't matter. Manifesting works anytime, I say. Again, I mean, I feel like the big vague ones are just, health, staying healthy, being healthy, happiness, whatever that looks like. But to me, I think happiness is just being okay with what is, and just knowing my worth. And then, just love, finding things I love, being with people I love and who love me. And I think love is it. I really do. So just finding more of that.
Okay. Anything else in specific?
Yeah, and this job that I'm supposed to hear back on, I would love to know if I've got this job. They're killing me here.
Someone on Instagram just wanted to say that they love your smile. I think we should put that out there.
Thank you so much. Also, my dad's a dentist. He would love to hear that. So, Dr. Q Rahimi in Agora Hills. If anyone's looking for a plug right now, I'm plugging my dad.
Your dad on a Finsta was like, I love
Oh my God. I mean, he's like kind of famous on Instagram. He's like 20,000 followers. He's got a great, little social media presence. I'm so happy for him.
Then someone on Instagram also said, can you share your experience working with Sam in Still Star-Crossed?
Damn.
Was there someone named? There was a last name, and I didn't write it down because I just thought maybe you would know. Was there? Because you worked on a show called Still-Crossed.
Yes, I did work on a show called Still Star-Crossed. It was a Shonda Rhimes show about Romeo and Juliet. And like the first episode, they die, and then it's like what happens in Verona after their death.
It was like a weird last name. It was like a long last name. I didn't write it down.
He might have been the Doge, if I'm thinking of the right guy. It's a man. He was lovely, if this is who I'm thinking of. I can't remember his last name myself, but he was lovely. He was great. So funny. He was a really funny guy, and his whole thing was he wanted my virtue.
Like the character?
To create an alliance between Spain and I think it was England or something, or France. Oh no, we were in Italy, and maybe there were Spain. That's what it was. To create an alliance between us, he was like, I want your virtue, like essentially, to take my virginity.
Oh,
so his character was really shisty, but he himself was a lovely person. We had a lot of fun. I met so many great people on that show.
Where did you shoot that show?
In Cáceres.
Where's that?
It's like a tiny medieval town between Madrid and Portugal, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Shonda Rhimes really going European.
God, it was so fun. It really was.
How long ago was that?
Like 2018.
It's funny. I moved and he growled.
Yeah, he gets mad. He's like, no, I'm comfortable.
Okay, let's look at these real quick. All right. So guys, we are gonna sign off. But if there's any questions, let us know. I love how like with this light and drinking makes my face so red. Someone said
it looks glowy.
Oh, thank you. Someone said they are gorgeous, lovely ladies. Is this a slumber party or what? Yes.
Well, if you've had too much martini, you're welcome to stay
Someone
here.
said punch one wall and you get charged with something. I think it's
look, it's never a good look to punch a wall, but I've smacked a wall, so it's okay.
Punching bag is cheaper. Thank you guys. We have 75 people on this live right now. This is so amazing.
Yay.
So this has been so much fun. Someone said y'all are hot. Great. So
I'm like, just kidding. This isn't the 90s anymore.
Yeah. So guys, really quick plug, really quick. I did write a book. That is what this podcast is for. It's called Good Girl. It's available on Amazon.
It's so good. You have to read it. And I swear, like, I read it in like 4 hours. I could not put it down. I swear to God, it's so good.
Someone said, how do you feel about green beans? I love green beans.
We love green beans, especially a Szechuan green bean.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Right?
Like Szechuan green bean.
Wait, are you hungry? Should I order beans?
We could order, something so we can have some more martinis after we sign off. But thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to be doing this podcast once a week. So subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow Medalion Rahimi on Instagram. She is shooting her movie next month. So follow along for all of that. And you guys have been so great. So thank you so much. And I'm probably going to end the live now. Okay. All right, guys.
Bye. Bye.